Hollywood Brown is back, and that's not the only good news. Walk with me. Welcome back, everybody. This is RGR Football. I'm Ryan, going rogue. That's what RGR is, if you didn't know that already. Welcome in. Thanks for joining us. Like, sub, hit the bell, become one of us. We are always doing content for you. We've got a lot of cool stuff coming this season. A lot going on here as we get ready for preseason game number 3. And lo and behold, despite what was a not very well covered practice earlier in the week, Andy Reid let everybody know today that Hollywood Brown is back. They're letting him play. They're probably going to let him play in preseason game number 3. Didn't really see that coming, and I wasn't too concerned if he hadn't, but they want to get him a few reps, and I think I completely understand where they're coming from there. So look for Hollywood, number 5, to be out there when they play the Bears. Now, is it going to be a ton? I don't know. I'm a little surprised by it, so it could be anywhere from 5 snaps to 20, but I doubt that's going to go much past that. Now, the rest of the starters are going to be out there for quite a while, it seems, and that does include all the young guys, so you think that you're going to see at least... Well, if the drives go quickly and they're not like forced by turnover so that they're actual drives, you got to think you're going to get 15 to 20 plays out of Kingsley Suamataia as well as Josh Simmons out there as a pair, which I think is probably the number one thing that they need to be doing right now. And that is just to work together against actual NFL talent. Austin Booker from Kansas will probably be out there. He's been having a decent preseason, so you're going to have a little speed rusher on the side. I think Sims is going to be able to deal with that just fine. No offense. I like Booker, but it's going to be, I think, really the culmination. And so far, Kingsley Suamataia has only played 21 snaps in the preseason. So they got to get him more. And the more that he plays with Josh and they kind of hone in on everything, I think the better off they're going to be. And Josh talked about the same thing today. So I think as they flip that switch, it should be 2 drives, 4 drives, somewhere in there. And I think they're expecting it to be about a half for the offensive lineman. I think Mahomes probably a quarter-ish, depending, again, on if the drive goes over the quarter port or whatever that is. Hopefully 10 plays for Pat Mahomes, Travis Kelce, something like that. Hollywood, limited. Xavier, I think probably something similar. Then it comes down to Tyquan Thornton, who, when we start talking about bubbles, I said it on Locked On Chiefs, it's not really a bubble. He's on the roster. He's earned his spot. The bubble is Nico Remigio and whether he's done enough to come back or not. And that's really probably the bigger question. I don't know what to say about that right now. I can't decide whether he is actually on the roster or not because they trust Smith. They want to trust Smith. Dave Tobe seems to be holding back on him. Maybe it's because it's the rookie thing. He was pretty good at throwing around praise, which did go out to Tyquan Thornton, which he says they're still searching for like a specific role. Whether that's a gunner or an end on punt or something like that he can do and be effective in a second way. But Tyquan's already earned the spot on the offense, I feel, and I think most people feel that way. I could be wrong. You guys tell me what you think in the comments. That said, Nico Remigio is right on the edge. If they keep 7, which I think they have to, he probably makes it, and he probably gives Dave Tobe the returner that he's looking for. If they get in a crunch, and there could be multiple positions that lead to this, whatever the hell is going to happen on the defensive line, right now, Jay Brenningstool is back at practice, which means they have five viable tight ends. They can't keep them all on the active. There's just no way. So you either have to mystery IR, Brenningstool, maybe and Wiley, with both of them as designations to return. The problem is you only get 2 of those going into the 53. So if you were to put both those guys on, you'd be out of options. You get 8 designated return for the season, I believe. Using 2 of them, the only 2 that you get going into the 53, the cut down day designations, that might be too much. So do you run a scenario where you cut Robert Tonyan with a deal saying, hey, buddy, we need a day, we're going to cut you today so we can get to the 53, or we'll pull you right back tomorrow as we send one of the guys elsewhere onto IR that they can then designate one of their 6 extra spots. It's really just about management. So I think there could be some gymnastics going on there at tight end. There could also be at defensive tackle, because if Remigio's on the roster, that makes it harder to keep 10 defensive linemen. And now you don't have Felix Anudike-Uzomah. He's already on injured reserve, which means his season is over. And that makes things more difficult because you probably have to go out and get someone. Now, I don't usually dig too into mystery kinda woulda, shouldas. One guy that I liked, and I told you guys up and down, before he signed a free agent deal in Las Vegas, the best free agent that year, and probably since then, on the defensive line to pair with Chris Jones, a guy that can do something similar and something helpful that can actually help Chris be a bigger, better Chris, is Christian Wilkins. He's hurt. He's got a foot. He claims that he's ready to play. Raiders say that there's nowhere close to that. He didn't do his rehab. They got all kinds of stories and questions and bullshit. The question becomes, is it worth that chance? I'll talk about that in a special members video here in a minute, but you got to find something. And so it's cut down day, or you're keeping Marlon Tuipulotu. Now, Tuipulotu is a guy that I've wanted to see for a while. You guys know that. I wanted to see him last year, and he just couldn't get on the field. But if you don't keep Marlon, your only other option on this roster right now is Malik Herring, and they know what they have in him, and I don't think they're terribly interested. Because they would have done something, given him more playing time or something by now if they thought that he could actually play a role. So I'm not convinced of that at all. That said, it's a safe bet for him, a little bit more of a risk for Marlon. And I think those two positions lead to what this whole hubbub is right now. And as I'm getting ready to record this, we're just hearing that it's over in Washington for Brian Robinson. He's done. He's out. They agreed not to play him in preseason week number 2 because they don't want him hurt, because they both want him to be out of Washington, D.C. Now, Brian Robinson is a starting level running back in this league. He might not get traded. I don't know what's going on with him, but if he gets released, the Chiefs will be all over it. They want depth at running back. I don't think Elijah Mitchell is going to make this roster. And so that, if they only kept three running backs, that helps them with the tight end situation. It helps them with the wide receiver situation. And it doesn't put so much pressure on them on the defensive tackle role. They could do that and then try to acquire him, but I think it's going to have to come down to a free agency thing. They're going to have to wait, because right now we're hearing that one way or the other, he's out of there. I don't think somebody's going to trade for him. He's going to make a little over $3 million, but he wants a new contract. Everybody does as they finish up. Could the Chiefs swing that? I think they would rather wait till he's released, because I don't think anybody's going to trade for him. I don't think they think anybody's going to trade for him. And then give him a deal that's structured so that they're not paying top dollar, even though they know he wants it, in order to be a complement to Isaiah, or maybe the other way around. That may turn into Brian Robinson being the number 1 back in this team. That's something that a lot of fans are not really prepared for. But Kareem's already hurt. Elijah Mitchell hasn't done anything. Carson Steele's a fullback. I do like him, and I think he's solid catching the ball out of the backfield when you have to. But he's not going to run past anybody. He's not going to make a ton of upside plays. He's going to be a steady, grinded out kind of guy. And if you need pop and you need juice, Brian Robinson is the best thing going right now. So I have to think that the Chiefs are going to be in on that. Now, what happens in the end is you get a better feel for what happens in preseason game number 3. And that all goes into this calculation of how you do any of these things. What the 53 becomes, what your trade options are, and God forbid somebody gets released that you have to think about signing a free agency, or you have to go to the well for Christian Wilkins. I can't tell you how it's going to come down, but I know those are the options. We'll see what happens. They have enough money to spend that they could get some of these things done, including Robinson and Wilkins, and shore up 2 of their least set positions. I think that takes care of a lot of worries, and I think that would be a good job. What do you think? I want to know in the comments. Appreciate you guys hanging out here. We got some cool stuff coming. Dan's going to be back on, Gary as well. We got new content on the way, and we are going to be ready for Brazil and the Chargers and the way this Chiefs season is going to go. So like, sub, hit the bell. If you want the gear, if you want to be part of Rogue Nation, you can get in there and get that stuff, if I can get it to focus, at the store. I appreciate you. It helps us keep doing what we're doing, and very much happy to do it for you guys. So have a good one. Thanks for being here, and I'll catch you next time.
Thanks for watching this video from the team at RGR Football. Click these videos to see more, and subscribe to RGR Football.